What makes a president progressive? Is it the policies they pass, their ability to inspire the public, or their willingness to challenge the status quo? In this video, we're diving deep into the presidencies of William Taft and Woodrow Wilson to uncover how progressive reforms shaped America in the early 20th century. Today, you will learn about major reforms in labor rights, child welfare, banking, and trust busting, as well as the limitations and contradictions of the progressive era. By the end, you will have a clearer picture of how these leaders carried, or failed to carry, the torch of progressivism after Theodore Roosevelt. When Roosevelt decided not to run for re-election in 1908, he placed his trust in William Howard Taft to continue his progressive agenda. But progressivism during the Taft and Wilson years wasn't without setbacks, disagreements, and surprising turns. Let's explore how this period unfolded, starting with William Taft, who found himself in a tough position from the very beginning. Imagine being William Taft in 1908. You've been handpicked by one of the most popular presidents in American history, Theodore Roosevelt, to carry forward a progressive agenda. Sounds like a dream, right? But Taft quickly learned that following Roosevelt's bold legacy came with enormous expectations and controversy. Taft believed in strict constitutional boundaries for presidential power. While Roosevelt had taken an expansive approach to the presidency, Taft stuck to the rulebook. He aggressively enforced antitrust laws, breaking up more trusts than Roosevelt. Yet his reluctance to push progressive policies alienated many of his supporters. One of Taft's biggest setbacks came with the Ballinger-Pinchot controversy. This was more than a policy dispute. It was a blow to the progressive movement's trust in Taft. Gifford Pinchot, a staunch conservationist and close ally of Roosevelt, accused Taft's Secretary of the Interior, Richard Ballinger, of corruption. Taft sided with Ballinger and fired Pinchot for insubordination. Progressives were outraged. Some even wrote letters to Roosevelt, who was on safari in Africa, pleading for him to intervene. Meanwhile, American society faced pressing social challenges. By 1910, nearly 200,000 children worked in factories, often in dangerous conditions. Progressives fought hard for change, and in 1912, the Children's Bureau was created to investigate these abuses. However, Congress stopped short of passing laws to protect these children effectively. At the same time, immigration nearly tripled. The Americanization movement sought to assimilate newcomers, while Congress debated, and passed, a literacy test for immigrants. Yet President Taft vetoed it, calling it discriminatory. One tragedy that shocked the nation was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of 1911. Locked doors and unsafe conditions left 146 people, mostly young immigrant women, trapped in the building. This horrific event sparked widespread outrage and demands for factory safety reforms. Labor unions like the AFL and IWW grew during this time. Workers banded together to demand better pay and conditions. One iconic moment was the Bread and Roses strike of 1912, where textile workers demanded both fair wages and dignity. The election of 1912 was a pivotal moment. Roosevelt, feeling Taft had failed progressivism, formed the Progressive Party. With the Republican vote split, Woodrow Wilson, the Democratic candidate, won in a landslide. It was one of the most dramatic elections in American history. Wilson wasted no time pushing through reforms. The Revenue Act of 1913 lowered tariffs, but introduced an income tax to make up for lost revenue. He also created the Federal Reserve System, stabilizing the nation's economy, and strengthened antitrust laws with the Clayton Antitrust Act. These reforms reshaped the economic landscape and solidified Wilson's reputation as a progressive leader. But progressivism had its limits. Wilson's administration resegregated federal workplaces, and he initially resisted supporting women's suffrage. Though he eventually backed the 19th Amendment, his early reluctance reflected the era's deep inequalities. The presidencies of Taft and Wilson reveal the complexities of progressivism. While they brought transformative reforms, their leadership also showed the era's contradictions and limitations. What do you think? Were they true progressives, or did they fall short? If you got a lot of value out of this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching.